All right, what up, y'all? Welcome to the show.
What up, y'all?
Yeah.
Did you become American while you were gone with your baby?
Yeah, dog. I guess dog is
American and gangster?
American and gangster. Yeah, I'm the most gangster person ever. I'm like all rapping and...
I was just going to say, have they seen the Stormtrooper video? You're obviously pretty gangster. You straight up killed a guy.
Yeah, with force lightning, no less. You know, the number of people who complain
Oh my god.
that it was fake because stormtroopers don't have force lightning...
Did you guys see a Stormtrooper rapping?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, let's figure out all the other things that could... How about the Stormtrooper was wearing headphones? Well, there's one thing. How about the Stormtrooper didn't have a gun that he was firing wildly at nothing? Although, I'm actually a believer in the conspiracy theory that they were instructed not to hit anything. I buy that. Have you heard of this?
That makes sense, though.
Yeah, the conspiracy theory is that the stormtroopers were told not to hit anything because we already know from Obi-Wan that only Imperial stormtroopers are this precise. I actually just rewatched A New Hope. Not special edition, not remastered.
That actually totally makes sense.
It totally makes sense.
Whoa, that blew my brain up a little bit.
Anyway, I just rewatched A New Hope with my son, and I can happily say, actually, I haven't watched it in probably at least 8 years. I've watched it a lot of times, but I haven't watched it in a long time. It still holds up.
Really?
Yep. And my 2-year-old son sat through the whole thing. Even though it's not really that action-packed. Like, the first movie he really sat through all the way was How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
Like, that's a pretty exciting movie.
That was one of those things where it was just playing on, like, a local TV network, and I went to my parents' house, and I came in, like, half hour late.
Oh, you still haven't seen it?
No, I came in, like, half an hour late, and I was supposed to be helping my mom cook. And I, like, kept on dragging back to, like, watch the TV. And I was like, this is really interesting. This is actually a pretty good movie.
It's a fantastic movie.
So I have to see
that
whole
movie.
thing. You know what else is supposed to be really good is Guardians of the Galaxy. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard glowing reviews from, like, everybody.
Have not seen it
I
up to
didn't
this
expect
point.
you probably would have seen it.
Yeah.
Just bring like, absolute newborn into the theater.
I did manage to see How to Train Your Dragon 2 before
Right.
the new baby come. We actually didn't take my son.
What? Why?
It was date night.
You got wrecked.
Well,
That's
and we
horrible.
could only find a 3D showing, and he's 2.
Oh,
I don't
3D
know.
showing? Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, it was just one of those things, and I was like,
I've
well,
heard too much crap about 3D and little kids.
I wanted to see it in the theater, so I'll watch it again when it's out for DVD or whatever.
That's hilarious. Okay.
When that happens, then that's what'll happen.
So our first topic?
Yeah, we have some topics for today. The Samsung Galaxy Alpha has been announced. It's the least exceptional thing ever, as far as I can tell. USB Type-C has a finalized spec, which is actually really exciting. 100 times more exciting than the Samsung Galaxy Alpha.
Ubisoft is promising to cater more to PC gamers and pay more attention to PC gamers. So,
Excuse me, sorry.
yeah, we've been having these problems lately.
Was that too subtle? Bullshit!
There we go.
Sorry.
There we go. The Xperia Z2 survived multiple weeks under salt water, which is insane. We'll talk more about that
Kind of
later.
thing,
as well.
like meters of salt water. But without further ado... Come on! Can I never get this right? Were there even technical difficulties when I was gone?
I think we might have. Yes, there was. Remember the screen sharing worked.
I don't
Before the
remember
show?
anything.
Oh, well, I told you what.
Oh, that's right!
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back in the AverMedia now. It's all good. All I had to do was unplug it and plug it back in. And then it was fine, actually. Oh yeah, guys, we have a sponsor this week. Squarespace is back! 10% off with offer code Linus. Remember, guys, Squarespace is the fantastic, easy, inexpensive, scalable, and beautiful way to have your own website. You know, like GeoCities, except not the 90s.
No, like, crazy flashing RGB animations and all this junk.
Squarespace believes the web shouldn't look like garbage.
That's a big difference.
I mean, the 90s web had its charm, to be clear. I mean, okay.
Space Jam still exists, right?
I think Space Jam 2 is, like, sort of coming. Is the Space Jam site still up?
No, I think so, yeah. Yeah, it is, yeah. Space Jam's
No
website.
way.
100%. This has been a thing for a long time. The website has never gone down, and it's still, well, like, I'm sure it's had its downtime, but it's like, it still exists. And you can go to the site map where they have, like, little mini descriptions of each section, like people used to do. Oh my goodness. There's a few websites that have still existed. Pressbox Shuttle, Jam Central, Planet B-Ball, Lunar Tunes, Jump Station, Warner Brothers Store, Behind the Jam, Sitemap, Stellar Souvenirs, Junior Jam, and The Lineup. Ridiculous.
All right, so I have an early straw poll for you guys. This is actually I've got to get the. I'm not logged in. Can you never remember my login? Thank you. That's
Twitch
exactly
on my
what I
computer
wanted
at
to do.
home will tell me that my login information is incorrect, and then if I just click login again, it's like, okay, good job. What?
I'm going to go on my dashboard. I'm going to post this straw poll. I want you guys to check this out. Okay, so speaking of the internet in the not the 90s, but certainly the early 2000s, does anyone but me remember the Palace? This is pre-Habbo Hotel, okay? We're talking Palace, not Habbo Hotel. If you were a Habbo Hotel kid, then you were basically as cool as my sister.
That straw poll.
All right, so guys, check that out. I'm curious to see the results here.
That is the most hardcore spam I think I've ever seen.
So apparently, I am like the only person in the entire universe who remembers the Palace.
I remember the Palace. I don't think I ever was on it, but I knew the Palace.
Oh, Palace was awesome. Like it was okay. It was kind of if they had figured out a monetization model for avatars, they would have been 10 plus years ahead of in-game items.
Yeah.
In terms, because the way that avatars worked in the Palace was, generally speaking, people shared them back and forth. You couldn't really just rip them off people because the way that they worked was you built them up on your guy, and it was kind of this weird thing. So there were sets, and then some people would be mismatched. So everyone had there was the one chick with the skater shorts and the one dude with the skater pants or whatever, and so you could mix and match them so they look different. Anyway, the point is, I don't know what the point is. The point is I'm old and no one remembers the things I remember. So
Well, you got that from the Space Jam thing still existing, so we're just talking about old internet stuff. So.
No, I already
Homestar Runner! Someone said Homestar Runner in the chat.
Yeah,
Oh my
Homestar Runner, man.
God. There's a Wikipedia entry update. Apparently they released a video at some point, teasing that there's going to be another...
Terminating all the people.
Apparently there's going to be another Strong Bad email at some point, but that was 3 years ago, I think, and it still hasn't happened, so I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, so speaking of things that should have happened 3 years ago and never really managed to happen, Samsung is finally releasing... Hold on, I'm just going to sign out of my forum account here.
Galaxy Beta?
Yeah, Galaxy Beta. No, this is pre-beta. This be alpha, dog. All right, the screen share here. So this was originally posted by Nine Shadow on the forum. And it is finally a metal phone from Samsung.
Is it called Alpha because it's not ready yet?
And it's funny because I don't think they could have made this look any more like an iPhone if they had tried. Wow. Now that Android has on-screen buttons, you have just one home button in the middle. You got a speaker grill, a front camera, and side buttons.
Wow. I know they already weren't really that different, but that's pretty close.
But it's pretty...
If their button at the bottom was circular, then...
I know, right?
GG.
But at least, okay, so it's got a 4.7-inch display, it's got a metal housing, it's got their Exynos octa-core processor, so 4 cores at 1.8, 4 cores at 1.3. It has 2 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of internal storage, it supports LTE Advanced, which is nice, but... It's got a fingerprint sensor, speaking of...
Yeah, really.
Yeah, fingerprint, a 12-megapixel rear camera, metal building materials, and it is... The rumored street price for off-contract is $800 US. Now, I left out a couple of key specs there. That 4.7-inch screen is a 1280 by 720 screen. And I'll be the first. I've talked about this on the show before. I don't think we need Quad HD 2560 by 1445 inch screens. I think it's unnecessary. I think it adds to cost, power consumption, and reduces battery life, and otherwise just generally doesn't really have any benefit. But You gotta at least try.
There's something to say for 1080 over 720 on a phone.
Yes. 1080 is noticeable, whereas, 1440, maybe not that noticeable. 720p is definitely lower. It also only has an 1860 milliamp hour battery.
Yeah, I noticed you skipped over that, and I was like, I know why.
Because I'm about to lower the hate boom. And no micro
So not
SD
impressive.
expansion.
Nope.
I mean, we're talking a flagship phone when pretty much everyone else has reversed on the whole, yes, we're not going to have micro SD because people should use up their entire internal storage for their music libraries. That never made any sense.
Super dumb.
Super dumb. I mean, I don't necessarily agree that phone makers need to allow people to install apps on an external SD card.
No.
And there are good reasons for that.
Yeah.
SD cards are not reliable. They're not fast. So, fine, I
It
get
can hurt
it.
the experience or whatever. That's fine.
But let me put my music and pictures on it. I don't want to be using up my stupid 16 gigs of internal
That's
storage
all I
on
ever
that.
used it for anyways.
Exactly.
I just use it as a direct storage device, plug it in the computer, put freaking music, what songs, whatever on it, take it out, put it in the phone.
So it's freaking awesome. So this doesn't have
Or
that.
it's in the phone.
And just otherwise is not very impressive. I mean, okay, it's less than 7 millimeters thick and, thin.
Oh.
I hate that so much.
Are
Less
you
than-
59 years young?
Yeah, I know, right?
God, that kills me every time. Like, okay, I'm
Maybe
not
when you're
saying
59,
you're
you'll
old.
understand.
No, I'll still call myself 59 years old.
Or just 59 years.
Or that.
59 years of swag, dog. And it's only 115 grams, so it is pretty light, especially for a metal phone. But I think that Samsung's marketing video really does tell us everything that we needed to know about this phone. This phone has nothing to do with how good it is. It has to do with this completely stupid way that some guy has it on his mixing console. It has to do with, for some reason, someone like moving their hands around like this has their phone propped up at the edge of the table on its side. And it has to do with storing it like that for some reason.
They all do that.
Well, they're showing that the side is flat, I guess.
Oh, who cares? You were not the first to do that.
No.
Oh, wait, they're all walking with it.
Hold on. The suspense. Oh, look at how well it goes with that chic little...
Let's make sure she carries it in the dangerous position outside of the purse.
Yeah.
Where it might potentially fall.
Yeah, don't put a case on it or anything.
No,
Doug.
of course not.
So, pretty much, this phone is targeted towards people who were never going to care about the spec anyway. But the thing that I have to respect Apple for is if you're going to make something that's a fashion accessory, an iPhone is still a wicked fast phone. It's still got the horses.
And I personally think it looks better than that.
Yeah,
I've
they
never
managed
liked
to
the
make
Samsung button on the bottom, and it always has that wobbling issue.
Well, maybe this one doesn't.
Maybe.
So let's
but
not be too down on it.
They've all had it so far. But
So-
yeah, you're right. It might not.
I don't know. It comes in 5 colors: black, white, gold, silver, and blue. I'm actually trying to get HTC to send me a pink 1M8.
Really?
Oh, I am like super stoked on if I could get my
jeez.
hands on one of those. Anyway, so the only pricing we actually have is €599. So it's possible this will land at $599 US dollars. That happens a lot.
It
Where
shouldn't, but it
there's
does.
no currency conversion between territories.
I always feel bad for other places when that happens.
Well, remember, they also get paid in that currency. So, like, a competitive minimum wage is not going to be $10 an hour here and $6.72 an hour
It
or
could.
whatever, but it isn't, typically.
Right. I don't know, so I have no argument here.
In a country with a similar economy, it'll be similarly equivalent in
Yeah.
terms of the actual number on the end.
Right.
Sometimes, not always. Okay, so...
I don't think that works for people in bad economies, because when you're making, like... When a phone costs, like, millions of whatever.
That's what I mean. Like, in similarly developed
Oh, okay.
economies.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
I have a segue. For a phone that costs $800, at least they're not as bad people as OnePlus One. Oh, right. This is happening. I forgot about this.
Happy baby to you.
Happy baby to you. Happy Happy baby,
Does
dear
this have the word
Linus.
genitals on it?
Yeah. Happy baby to you.
Okay. Thank you. Here we go. So it's going to be hard to show this to the people watching, but it says, congratulations on making a human with your genitals. I'm not sure what they were expecting me to make with my genitals. Maybe a little, like, like a little thing with, like, sunglasses and a big nose and a mustache. I could make that.
Oh God.
Maybe not on this
Oh,
show.
no. But I don't think. Yeah, I think we get banned off Twitch for that.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure that's not allowed.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, guys.
This is
really
from
nice.
this is from like Mape and Ghost and all those guys. I don't remember. Sorry guys, I don't remember all the names included. But we'll get you those later. I know Mape is the one that did like almost all of the organization stuff for it.
Well, thank you. Thank you to whoever came up with putting the word genitals on my cake too. I appreciate that. Is that you?
No, it was not me. Not me. All I did was help organize the pickup and stuff like that. I didn't name it. I had no other. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys. I actually thought we were going to be celebrating my birthday because this is the last show before my birthday as well.
Ah.
Well, then also happy birthday.
Also-
No, don't sing that song.
Yeah, you can't sing that song. It's not allowed.
No,
Yeah.
we didn't sing the song. We sang happy baby to you.
Happy birthday to you.
I think the melody is actually included.
Uh-oh.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Oh balls.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Enjoy the show.
I will take that home to my wife, who recently had a baby, and I'm sure could use some cake at this point. Yeah, she watches the show sometimes. You better watch yourself.
I mean,
Yeah, gracefully with a little tiny fork.
yeah.
Delicious.
Delightful.
Couldn't possibly eat another bite. Okay, so
So it was Ghost, Useless Bread, Mape, STR_Mape, and Low.
thank you guys. Appreciate that.
There we go. Okay, so
All right,
anyways,
what was your segue?
My previous segue was it may cost about $800 and be somewhat useless, but at least the company behind it isn't as bad as OnePlus One.
Oh, OnePlus. What are you guys doing? It's like, is the plan to create as much negative publicity as possible?
Negative publicity is still publicity. I
Yeah,
guess.
that's true. But I mean,
We
come
are talking about it.
on. So this was originally posted by Alex Goes High on the forum, and basically,
It was a contest exclusively for women, where it asked women to take a picture of themselves with the OnePlus logo visible on either a piece of paper or drawn somewhere on the body. The 50 most well-liked ladies would get a T-shirt and a code so that they could buy a OnePlus. OnePlus dropped a ladies no nudity warning, and I believe
which is just another way of saying we want you to get as unclothed as possible without it being considered nudity.
Well, yeah, because if you think about it, it's most liked. So what do you expect?
Yeah, and it invites the the sub caverns of the internet
to come in and spam
colony
vote and do whatever. Whenever you host a big poll, you're always gonna bring in that. But whenever you post a poll in this style, it's gonna happen way more.
Yeah.
Way more.
So basically, it's
A lot of-
super tasteless.
Yeah, super tasteless. A lot of women came in and started doing pictures where they would have like the OnePlus logo and then don't be sexist. And then like not be wearing super revealing clothing. I think that was the general idea.
Yeah, there was some of that. At this point, Cyanogen has like denounced the whole thing.
Yeah. Cyanogen exactly said, "We value all of our users and do not support any contest that objectifies people."
And the contest thread has since been taken down. I mean, you know what? It would be one thing if they were all for equality and they just said, take a picture of yourself with OnePlus, and if people submitted, scantily clad, whatever they were going to do on their own, of their own volition, if people just are like, yeah, you know what, I'm down, I want to post a picture of myself on the internet, that's their right, and they can do that. But they specifically led people down the path to believe that that's what they were looking for.
Exclusively for women, and in the thing it says somewhere on your body.
Somewhere on
or
your
on
body.
a piece of paper.
So they were specifically asking for that. And then, again, it would be a whole other ball of wax if they were actually giving them a phone or something.
Here's a chance to buy one, because we're douchebags.
People keep asking me for a review of this phone. And honestly, I just don't even want to.
We got close like a day or two ago.
Yeah, we were kind of maybe going to do it, because if one fell into our lap, maybe...
Then it maybe would have happened, but at this point, no.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like, I
There-
just...
if we did, half the review would be like, yeah, they're kind of douches with their invite-only system, and yeah, they're kind of douches with their objectifying women thing. So
And breaking perfectly good phones instead of encouraging people to recycle them.
Yeah. But it's made well.
Yeah, I guess so.
And OK Google Now support isn't there, but you can patch it in and blah, 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 blah. There's your review. There's the whole review. That's all you really need to know.
Is it... We should do a series, All You Really Need to Know by Luke. Where it's just like 30 seconds long.
It's made well, but some things are broken, but you can fix most of them. But they're kind of a douchebag company, so it's a pretty good phone if you're okay with ignoring the company and you're okay with patching things in. Thanks for watching.
I had an idea for a segment that I wanted to start doing, and now I've totally forgotten what it was.
Not the LSD segment, right?
No, not that one. It was going to be something else. Shoot, it was a really good idea. Oh well. All right, so Microsoft, it happens every time, so it's hardly news. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but Microsoft and Sony caught using PCs to showcase games at Gamescom.
Not new, but a continued trend, which is still
Yeah.
worth talking about.
So Microsoft decided, as usual, to camouflage a number of PCs in order to showcase one or even more of its titles. So there was a game crash, and apparently this was running on a GeForce PC because we see a GeForce Experience update down here. And then, of course, there's an Xbox console that is obviously not doing anything. I mean, the thing about this is, guys, you got to understand, this makes sense because devs, I mean... What you expect to walk into a game studio and like everyone has like monitors on their desks and like Xboxes next? No, the real work gets done on a PC. So the real testing is going to get done on a PC. You're not gonna do like a build version of the game, put it on a disc, and like put it in a console every time you want to test something. That's not how that works. So
jeez.
yes. Especially in development games are going to be showcased on PCs.
Yeah.
Because they're just better.
I think like they'll have consoles there because obviously going to have to test it on the console, but like the mass majority of the development,
Yeah,
and, like
the
all of their
actual
test
development.
builds, like you were talking about,
Yeah.
will be on a PC.
Yeah. I'm not saying they're not going to have. I'm not saying they're not going to have consoles. In fact, talking to Joel from Metageek, the Channelizer guys with the spectrum analysis thing, they were telling me that one of the guys that they've worked with in the past was a major game development studio that had a big problem because they had so many Xboxes that even though the wireless controller works kind of like Bluetooth, where it jumps channels all the time to avoid interfering with anything, they had so many of them that it just created broadband interference in 2.4 gigahertz, so nothing else could function.
Oh, that's awesome. Just jumps but lands on them on each other all the time.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Hilarious.
It's like Leapfrog with multiple thousands of people.
So Ori and the Blind Forest is the only game from Microsoft that was proven to be running on PC. It is speculated that others were running on PC, and then Sony was also caught showing Need for Speed
Honestly,
on PC.
The amount of years that I've been at PAX, there's countless amounts of time where you get a peek in a cabinet and you can see a console under it. I mean, a PC under it.
Yeah.
Countless amounts of time. There's even been times where people just straight up have like a grill on the side of their box thing that's under the TV, and you can look through
Which
the
kind of
grill.
grill?
No. And you can look through the grill and see a computer. And it's like, okay, you're not even hiding it at all. So, like, yeah, I don't know.
All right, speaking of, I don't know what to call this. Ubisoft pledges to take PC more seriously. Ubisoft said today that it is seeking to take Windows PC gaming way more seriously as the platform continues to make gains against rivals. I think as PC gamers, that headline alone is enough to kind of give me pause. It's like,
So you're only doing this because there's a lot of us.
you're only doing this because in spite of everything that the entire AAA gaming industry has done to alienate us, it's still growing. So I guess there's nothing you can do. So at the last possible second, as the growth continues to be uncontrolled and amazing, you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
I guess
We were on board all
I guess
along.
we'll care about you because you have money. I used to like them.
So basically, they're saying they're focused more on the needs of PC gamers. So they're going to have simplified DRM activation, greater commitment to multi-platform releases, which is a good thing, and I am happy to
If
see
it
that.
happens.
If it
I
happens.
seriously doubt it.
And the thing about a multi-platform release is that we expect to actually get a proper release, not one that gets patched 3 weeks later, a la Watch Dogs, and had a bunch of hidden content in it that you just... Like, there wasn't even a DLC plan. It just was turned off.
Turned off.
I mean, that's a whole other thing. Like, hey, pay another $10 for, like, the ultra extreme, amazing, high-fidelity version. You know, I think a lot of people would actually go for that.
They've there was a post, I don't remember by who at all. I think it was someone from Bungie saying that, like, if it's so aggressive right now with DLC and microtransactions that we could probably sell resolutions to you.
Oh.
And it's like, ooh.
I didn't say it was good, to be clear. I said that they could probably get away with it.
Horrible.
What are we talking about? Anyway, so blah, blah, blah. They'll focus more on the needs of PC gamers. Greater commitment to multi-platform releases. We're doing our best to bring our games to PC at the same time as the console version. So Assassin's Creed Unity and Far Cry 4 will come to the PC simultaneously. Not the two games simsimultaneously, but with the console simultaneously. Yeah, I'm most worried about the thing actually working or being optimized properly.
I've said in the past when there's these like massive, ridiculous Assassin's Creed delays for PC, I'm like, it's fine if it works, and then it like rarely really does, and it's always like this craptastic port, but whatever.
All right, so Ubisoft revenues from PC, in spite of all the crummy stuff, have gone from 11% of their total revenue to 15%. So on the one hand, at 11% of their total company revenue, I guess I can understand why they didn't give any cares.
Yeah, but their revenue is very split if you think about it.
And the thing about that, too, is, well, of course it was going to be 11% if you don't give anyone the option to buy the bloody game on the platform.
That happens. A lot of times it's extremely delayed. Like some of the Assassin's Creed delays have been, I think, like 6 months long.
Yeah.
Not super surprising if they happen to have a console and happen to buy it for that because they wanted to play it sometime near its release at all. Another thing is they're divvied up into web, mobile, I believe, even some phone stuff, all consoles, including Wii and Wii U, PC.
Yeah, last-gen consoles.
They're everywhere, right?
So even 11% is probably still not too bad.
Large,
but
yeah.
All right, so, of course, big news this week was the passing of beloved actor, comedian Robin Williams. WoW fans, given that he was such an avid gamer in his life, have asked for a WoW tribute. It wouldn't be the first time that Blizzard's done an NPC as a tribute to, a person or some kind of event.
Yeah.
So not a new thing at all. And basically, the only news we have right now is that Blizzard is indeed listening, and they did send out a tweet. If I could just find the tweet. Yeah, Blizzard says, thanks to Robin Williams, and we'll see you in game. So that's really nice. I mean, I just, I hope that it's not so soon, that it's just kind of piling on. Because the thing that I think a lot of people don't really think about is how the family might react to an in-game representation. I mean, as long as they're okay with it, then that's...
Well, this is slightly jumping, but did you hear about how people were treating Zelda?
No.
People were treating her incredibly poorly and like attacking her for not having enough pictures of her dad and all this kind of stuff on Twitter. So she fairly publicly left Twitter. She's like, I'm uninstalling it from everything, and I'm kind of gone for now. And then Twitter's like, yeah, we're gonna work on our harassment policies because it was like pretty bad. I can't believe people.
To be clear, Zelda is not the game. Zelda is Zelda Williams, Robin Williams' daughter.
Yeah.
She's what, 25, I think?
I don't know.
Something like that. So anyway, the petition to get him added to WoW as an NPC has almost 11,000 signatures, and so yeah, I'll be glad to see some kind of meaningful tribute as long as it's not something that's upsetting to the family.
And knowing Blizzard, I wouldn't be too surprised if they talked to them first.
I made myself so sad today when we were filming an NCIX PC video, because at the end I was like, there was kind of like a salesy, pitchy thing at the end, and I was like, something on sale today, come on down. And I was like, oh, now I'm sad, because that's an Aladdin bit from the very beginning. Yeah. I made myself uncomfortable and sad.
That's no good.
I was like, this is kind of sucky.
That is kind
I grew up on like Mrs. Doubtfire,
No,
man.
I know. Yeah, I saw all of his stuff too,
Yeah.
and I even used to watch like all of his comedy and everything.
Apparently, the internet absolutely exploded with torrent downloads of Robin Williams stuff.
I'm sure it did.
So this Tech Gauge article, moving along to sort of less sad, but also kind of annoying
Also,
topics.
kind of. Yeah.
Apparently, this one's been taken down, but the gist of it was gathered by our article sleuths before the whole thing was disappeared. So DDR4 will be just as expensive as we feared it would be, 60 to 70% more expensive than DDR3, based on crucial prices, which are on newegg.com as a pre-order. Both the 4x8 gig 2133 and 4x8 gig 2400 megahertz kits are listed at $520 US. Wow. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I don't think
Sure.
there's anything. It's on Tech Gauge if anyone cares.
Yep, you can find it.
So for whatever reason, 2133 and 2400 megahertz are priced the same. So are kits with and without heat spreaders. Although that actually makes sense. That's a trend that we've seen in the past, because when the pricing is so high for memory, the memory makers actually have some margin, so they don't nickel and dime you on the heat spreader. That's legitimately what happens.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, whatever. Because a heat spreader costs like, what, 40 cents or something like that. Like, they're not expensive.
Yeah.
But when we're talking, like, I mean, I've seen module prices in my time fall down as low as, I think NCIX was buying Samsung sticks of DDR1 or DDR2 for like $9.25 or something like that. Like, we're at that price, yeah, 40 cents makes a difference. So at lower prices, it tends to really matter. And then very expensive heat spreaders will still cost money. Things like Dominator Platinum heat spreaders, those are expensive.
Yeah.
Those actually cost money to make. You have to pay
There's
for them.
lights and the clear panel and all the metal and all that kind of stuff.
So
It's kind of a big deal.
okay, we just got confirmation from our potentially new employee who you still need to meet and kind of sign off on, but he said yes, he can probably get some contract stuff done for us
Shall we?
in the meantime. Because we are in a little bit of trouble over here at Linus Media Group. Taryn has an injury to his arm and needs to take some time off, and Brandon's going on vacation to Mexico next week. So we are down 2 shooter/editors.
Woo!
So we brought in a guy named David part-time, who's a friend of Brandon's, and then we are adding another head because we have no idea how long Taryn will be gone.
David, I almost just leaked the name of a video. David has edited a video that I did very recently, and it was actually pretty good. So you guys will see that fairly soon.
Oh yeah, David's done work for us before.
Yeah.
Yeah, like quite a lot.
You can like, if I don't tell you which one it is, you probably won't be able to figure it out.
Yep. All right, so speaking of high-speed memory, original poster for this is Mike TZ, and then we've got a promo video, which is very exciting. So this is over on the Kingston HyperX channel. So 4,620 megahertz HyperX Predator memory is a thing. Now, to be clear, that world record was set with a single 4 gig stick, cooled by liquid nitrogen. So this memory basically doesn't actually exist. In fact, the kits that they are going to make out of the same chips and with the same binning process aren't even for sale yet. But I guess it goes to show you, if you want to buy expensive memory, there's probably not much in terms of compelling reasons to spend that money on DDR4 instead of high-speed DDR3 at this point.
That happens every time, though.
It happens every time.
Yeah.
We see a last hurrah, and we see lower pricing, and then we see it eventually go away, and then we reach price parity, and then et cetera, et cetera. And around the time Intel releases an actual mainstream platform, so around the time we see Broadwell, that's when we'll see that price parity in all likelihood.
Yeah.
But this was on a board that's specifically designed for overclocking from Gigabyte. Like, it's totally barren of like features and stuff. It's just an overclocking board.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Speaking of Intel's upcoming platforms, silent laptops may be coming with Broadwell. So this was originally tweeted at me by Alejo Mr. Nokia. Okay, the original article is in Spanish, but Google Translate is magic.
Hooray!
And yeah, hooray! Although
This is not the translated version.
doesn't seem to be
If
working
you
for me
Google
right
the
now.
URL, it can give you a translate thing.
Yeah, it's okay, it doesn't matter.
Sure.
So basically, we are going to be seeing chips that potentially require no additional cooling. Intel is doing a lot of bragging lately about their 14 nanometer process, which they'll be using to manufacture these upcoming Broadwell Y chips, and the impressive gains in performance as well as power consumption that they've made over the last few years. So Core M will be a 14 nanometer chip based on Broadwell. Intel claims it's twice as fast as Core models that were introduced in 2010, 7 times better graphics performance, and with power consumption that is 4 times smaller. So that means you could achieve double the battery life with a battery that's half the capacity.
That's pretty beast.
Which is some pretty simple math, but impressive nonetheless. So yeah, cool. We're going to see a whole new class of devices. I mean, imagine this. This was something someone tweeted at me this week, was what if you could build a Shield portable that's actually just a Windows PC? Like if we could get something that small that has a built-in H.264 decoder so you could just run Steam in home streaming.
That would be pretty sick, actually. And do a lot of other stuff.
And do a
'Cause
lot
you
of
could
other
have
stuff.
a browser or you could have whatever, right? So you could even view, if you wanted to be like a super business loser dude, you could like view PowerPoints. You can do whatever.
I view PowerPoints. Sometimes PowerPoints have useful information in them.
I make
Jerk.
PowerPoints. So I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot as well. Not that big of a deal.
Good. I hate you.
I very recently pinned it to my start bar so I could see recently created items.
Speaking of upcoming Intel CPUs, there is an erratum, or whatever you want to have. I've never heard that word said out loud. Okay, well, the point is that Intel has had to turn off a feature called TSX that was first announced back in 2012. So all previous processors that have this feature are going to have it turned off with an upcoming microcode update. So if you update the BIOS of your motherboard, for example, to get better memory overclocking or some new feature or something like that,
Improve stability.
by default, it will disable this feature, unfortunately. So that stands for Transactional Synchronization Extensions.
Let's just ignore that E there.
Yeah, don't worry too much about the E. TSX sounds much cooler. As long as we don't call it TSA, then yeah,
Then no one will hate it.
it's not good. I mean, it's one of those things where for most users, it's probably not that big of a deal, but this was going to be really interesting in terms of multi-core processor performance over the next little while. And unfortunately, with the upcoming sort of new Haswell, whatever we're going to... whatever, it's NDA'd. So with the upcoming potential new platform that could be coming sometime in the future, ever. Well, okay, we all know it's coming eventually. So I haven't said anything that's
It's not too bad, actually. I
Yeah,
guess.
so we all know it's coming. So anyway, so it won't be there for that. And even the first Broadwell Y, those super low power processors, will not have it fixed yet. But Intel is, of course, working on it. So there you go. To be clear, guys, this kind of stuff happens all the time.
Yeah.
It happens every generation. I'm not saying it's good. It's super sucky that a feature that had started to gain traction. I mean, that's the thing, is Intel or AMD or NVIDIA or whoever is going to release a feature with a product, like, let's say, DirectX 10 compatibility. And then they're going to get an install base of people who can support that feature, and then software developers are going to get on board and create software that leverages it. So this sets TSX back a generation and a half or so, which is a bummer.
It is. But they kind of need to go through that process because no matter how much debugging you do, once you get a mass install base, that's when you really see how stable your stuff is.
Yeah, but mostly Intel doesn't
They
have
do.
this issue.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah.
So
Pretty
there you
solid.
go. All right. So speaking of...
Reasons to hate Ubisoft.
Yeah, well, okay, sure. This was originally posted on the forum by Johners, and he used some pretty strong language. Gee, Johners, I don't know if that language belongs on the WAN show here. Let's just go ahead and keep things somewhat PG.
We're going to not display that on screen right now. Yeah, sounds good.
Do you want to handle this one?
Sure, okay. So Ubisoft has confirmed the presence of microtransactions during their Gamescom presentation of Assassin's Creed Unity, which will essentially allow you to fast-track things like upgrades. Do they say anything specifically what you're going to be able to fast-track in here? I don't think so. Yeah, it's a straightforward way to pay for in-game items. So essentially, instead of like doing all the work in the game to get something, you can just be like, I want it. I can't. I don't know.
Okay, riddle me this, because I had a thought while I was looking at this article, and I had a thought. One thought. It was like, it's not many thoughts, mind you. What if? How far away do you think we are from someone offering an in-game like an in-game microtransaction for, let's say, a game like Tomb Raider? Okay, so you go into an optional tomb. I just finished Tomb Raider 2013. There's like 5 optional tombs.
I told you, right?
It's like, what? And each of them's like one puzzle.
It's really short.
It's like, figure out the pulley.
And they're like all the same. It's a pretty good game, but you get to the end and you're like, what?
And I'm only like 60% complete. But I think that I just have to go find relics and crap. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, me neither.
It's stupid. Anyway, and the relics don't even have any significance. I mean, the audio logs are kind of cool, but I already know what happened because the audio logs are just hints about what's going to happen. Anyway. So, how far away do you think we are from a microtransaction where you walk into the tomb? You walk into the tomb, and it's just like press O to just have Lara just do the thing, and press X to try to solve it yourself.
Oh, God. That makes sense because they're doing that on mobile games, right?
And is it really any different from buying a strategy guide? Whoa.
That's pretty intense. Now, okay, the strategy guide for more...
Because those were like $20.
Yep.
Or more.
Yep, definitely.
Not cheap.
The strategy guide for Morrowind I actually thought was pretty cool because it was written like you were kind of having a conversation.
Sure, but a microtransaction could be... Some
I
fairy
know.
could be really well animated.
And if
be
you
like,
wanted...
Hello, Luke. You did a really good job to pay for me to come help you solve this puzzle. Can I flash my boobies for you?
How's your day going? I can show you how to do this now.
Yeah.
No, like, the reason why I liked it is you could use it to just show you where things were.
Mm-hmm.
So you could, like, find the cave.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could just do it all on your own. But it did also have these solutions for it.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
So there was that.
And you could always have, like, varying levels of microness. So you could have, like, an ultra micro transaction that just reveal a nearby optional dungeon.
I can't beat you. You're right. Damn it. I
And-
still like player's guides more than... Damn it.
So, okay. And to be clear, guys, I'm as anti-microtransactions as anyone. Other than buying my ship in Star Citizen, I have never purchased a microtransaction. No horse armor, no jetpacks in Jetpack Joyride. I earn my stuff, or I don't play the game. That simple. But unfortunately, not everyone has that kind of discipline, so we have to deal with this stuff.
Yep.
And you know what? If I was in Ubisoft's position, I would do exactly the same thing.
And you know, I'm still totally against this.
People want it.
Yeah, I know.
They're asking for it.
And they'll pay for it.
And the people who don't want it don't have to buy it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of win-win. It's like, okay, realistically, are you going to not play Assassin's Creed based on this?
And my thing is, it's a single player game, right? So, like, you can decide not to and you can decide not to. The balance doesn't really matter. It's a single player game. One thing that does bug me is if they make things unnecessarily hard just to get people to pay the microtransaction.
Yeah, but lots of games are unnecessarily hard. If anything, that would be a return to difficulty for PC gaming and a very positive step.
But like,
BAM! You just got BAM!
No, not necessarily, because what if it's like nigh impossible? What if they're like, oh yeah, the best sword in the game is infinite money, essentially. Or you can buy it for $2.
Why do you need that item?
Because it's the best sword in the game. You're obviously going to desire it.
I don't, but sure.
But like, it's a lot of games are about like collecting and making yourself badass. If you really think about it, you can beat all of Assassin's Creed with the beginner swords if you really wanted to. But you want to deck yourself out with like the pistol swords and all those super badass swords that you can get throughout the game. One thing about it being an Assassin's Creed, that I don't necessarily mind, and before people destroy me on this, I'm still totally against it. But the fact that it's Assassin's Creed makes it kind of hilarious because you can buy like the best sword from the store really early on, especially if you don't just straight plow through the main quest. If you like go and do some other things, you can rack up the money to buy the best sword from the store really quickly. So I don't know. I've never really seen it as a problem. Like, I have a buddy who, in every game he ever plays, he doesn't start the main quest right away. He kind of roams around and tries to experience the game, and he was able to buy the best sword from the store before he even, like, really started the main quest once you have free roam. Of course, you have to unlock free roam first by going through the main quest for a while. But still, like, I don't know. Money has never really been that hard to acquire in Assassin's Creed, and you've always seemed to have insane amounts of it. Even in, what was it, Brotherhood or Revelations, where like you have to buy all those shops everywhere and it's kind of this insane little game. You always have abundant amounts of money, and buying items was never really a problem. So
We're going to have to tone down our Assassin's Creed discussion. Apparently no one cares about Assassin's Creed. Wasn't going to play it and don't care, says 40% of our audience.
Whoa!
And then, so most people don't care. Between wasn't going to play it and don't care, and was going to play it, still going to play it, that's about 70%. And then another 25% of you or
This
so
poll is like mega broken.
weren't going to play it, but you're mad anyway, but they didn't lose any money. So a mere 8% of you were planning to play Assassin's Creed Unity and are not going to play it now because there are microtransactions in it. So basically, if Ubisoft manages to increase their average sell price of the game by even 10%, and that's down to 7% now, by even 10%, then they missed out on nothing because you guys didn't play.
That might be pretty hard if you think about it.
If you think about how much money people spend on hats, a 10% increase in their...
Yeah, but there isn't like near infinite amount of items like there is with hats.
Or maybe there will be. Or maybe there will be lots of different stuff. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
You only need, a few people to, buy some crazy
Because
ship for 20
at 10%,
bucks.
if you spend what, $6, if you spend $6 in terms of buying stuff with microtransactions, you need 10 people for each replacement person.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fair amount. That's a lot of
Yeah.
microtransactions.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to average $6 per person. But then remember, there's
Yeah,
always
yeah,
the
yeah.
crazy guys that spend $100, $200 on like the best ship and the best.
I know,
like-
just what I'm saying was this wasn't necessarily possible. There's been microtransactions in Assassin's Creed games. Like that's another thing that I don't think people necessarily realize with this. Like in the previous Assassin's Creed game, you could unlock the the quest finder thing or whatever, which showed every single possible quest point on the map.
Right.
So you could just go to it. And like every single quest point, every single rare fishing point, every single treasure point, every single whatever, it would show it all on the map. Like all this kind of stuff has existed before, maybe just not in this form. So I don't know, but it wouldn't have been possible to spend $200 before. Maybe it is now. I don't know. Especially because it's fast track for items, I could see it being a lot. Because if you fast tracked every item, and if they made it like a sequence of items instead of just being able to buy it directly from the store, then yeah. Whoa.
All right, so basically, here we go. Head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, comments about resolution. So this is from computerandvideogames.com. Here we go. Interview, etc., etc., etc. And basically, the summary is... Let's just go ahead and go back to here. Frame rate to me is significantly more important than resolution to gaming. Okay. I can dig that, except that there's a threshold for both. Like, if your frame rate is 23 frames per second, or sure, let's pick on 24 frames per second because that's not good enough for games. So if your frame rate is 24 frames per second and you're running at a resolution of 4K, I would say yes. You need to tone down your resolution. You need to get that frame rate up to 30 minimum and hopefully a little higher. If your
45,
frame
60.
rate is 45 and you're running at 792p, then you need to amp up that resolution, maybe settle in at 40 frames per second or something like that. Like it's a balancing game, and it's going to depend on the style of game as well. For a Twitch combat type game, yeah, frame rate is going to be extremely, extremely important. Whereas for a more cinematic or exploration style game like Skyrim, you are going to want apparently...
I know a lot of people in Skyrim that have massively sacrificed frame rate to make their game look ridiculously amazing, because you can kind of do that with mods, especially if you run Nexus instead of just Workshop.
So I don't remember where I was going with this. Right, okay, so another quote from the interview is, reaching parity with our partners has been important. In the end, I don't want it to be about a number, because 1080p isn't some mythical perfect resolution, and frame rate to me is significantly more important to gameplay than resolution, and the mix of those two which brings the right art style and freedom. So there are certain genres, like racing games, where hitting 1080p 60 FPS is important and expected, but there are other genres where I'd rather use the cycles to put more effects on screen or better lighting. So basically,
I think he's interpreting the whole 1080p 60 FPS thing wrong, because he's saying, oh, 1080p isn't some mythical perfect number. I don't think anyone has ever said that.
1080p is a bare minimum.
Yes. They're saying it should be at least 60 FPS and at least 1080p. You're reading it wrong, buddy.
I mean, yes, I do understand that more graphical detail is nice, and it's cool, and it's good.
And we've proven that it's not as hard as cranking your FPS either.
Yeah, I think the thing that is being ignored here is just the fact that the hardware is underpowered, and no amount of spin doctoring is going to change that the Xbox One just isn't powerful enough. And that these next-gen consoles are either going to be the last ones ever, or they're going to need to be replaced in a much shorter period of time than the last-gen ones. So, something cool just arrived. Dun, da, da, da.
Da, 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 da.
DDR4.
Dun, 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 dun.
Da, 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 da. Although they set the wrong thing, so I'm not quite sure how to react to this. This is DDR4 2800 megahertz. It's a 16 gig 4x4 kit of Vengeance something. So basically, that's pretty exciting. So
awkward.
The pieces are all kind of arriving. I mean, it's no secret that there are chips out there. Kulauler posted screenshots from CPU-Z of Haswell E chips running on whatever settings, because he's crazy like that. And yeah, so the hype train has started.
Of not posting screenshots of what just happened.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal.
That hype train didn't start.
Let me just send off a quick email, because that's not what we were supposed to get. Oh, I just got a troll hangout message from Anthony from NCIX. He's like, yeah, so you're getting Dominators, eh? Lol. Because I was supposed to.
I don't know what to do right now. This is awkward.
You could start a new topic.
I don't really want to.
You could do your job.
It's fun hanging out in the awkward zone.
In the awkward zone.
Yeah, this is the awkward zone.
Is that like how your relationships with girls are? Is it all about the awkward zone?
No,
No?
it's all about the, like, lasting too long.
Does it get awkward?
That got awkward. Anyways.
All right, this is cool. This is really cool. This is the kind of thing that I think everyone can sort of geek out over, I hope. So, time-lapse video.
Yes,
a thing.
this is cool.
A very cool thing. This is your typical time-lapse video footage. Okay? Blah, blah, blah. It's some dude or some lady walking around doing things. Okay, so here's a 10x time-lapse. Super shaky, kind of hard to watch. Now, Microsoft is working on a feature that will be an app-enabled feature. Okay, so here's video stabilization. Check this out. Hyperlapse.
Whoa.
Have you not seen this yet?
No.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So basically, the way it works is it's creating like a 3D image. It's creating like a 3D scene from all of the images, and then navigating through that. So we can just watch these. There's a hyperlapse of that. So amazing. I love it. And then the fact that this isn't going to be, a multi-$1,000
Yeah.
plug-in for Adobe Premiere or something like that is incredibly exciting because it enables all kinds of new creative things that people can do just with basic camera phones. So the video's kind of blown up. It's got almost 2 million views, and so yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I.
That's
all I have to say
awesome.
about
I had seen this, but I hadn't I had seen article titles, but this week has been so messed up that I had no time to open the article. So I hadn't actually seen the video yet. That's pretty epic actually. And if you saw the Twitch chat during that, I'll try to zoom up. Zoom up? No, not at all. Just
Yeah. Holy sheet.
Oh my god.
Whole lot of that.
Yeah, so that was kind of awesome.
All right, so speaking of awesome, NVIDIA announces, and this was originally posted on the forum by Patrick JP93.
Why is this awesome?
It's not awesome.
Okay.
There's some awesome things about it, actually. And I'm
Okay.
going somewhere with this.
Okay.
But NVIDIA basically announces that... Wait, what the heck is this? No, that's not the original poster. Where's the top of this? Dang it.
LOL touchscreens.
Dang it, touchscreen, go. All right, originally posted by... Why am I on the 6th page? What is going on here? Artorias, thank you. So, Jensen Huang from NVIDIA, their CEO, believes that modern graphics cards, due to their importance for gamers, can continue to increase in ASP. So ASP is the average sell price. And Jensen goes on to explain that a number of years ago, gamers were typically willing to spend around $200 on a GPU with a graphics card and memory attached to it, and nowadays is closer to they're willing to spend $300. Now, the reaction to this article has actually been pretty negative, because I think a lot of people's perception of this is that NVIDIA is planning on jacking up prices. Whereas that's not actually the way that I read it, because
He's just saying people are investing more. We've had higher price options this entire time.
So here, let's go way back in the day. So I'm gonna pick on the X850 XT Platinum Edition.
Let's go with the card not that many people remember.
Well, if you were into this stuff at that time,
I know, I'm just saying.
then you'd remember it.
just
So
trolling you.
way to be a jackass.
I'm just trolling you.
So here we go from Tech Report.
Canadian double wide.
So there it is. That's what it looked like. Pretty
super
ballin'.
bad. Check out that copper though.
I know, that copper, yo.
Ooh.
All right, so here's the pricing matrix. Okay, so an X850 XT Platinum Edition was a $550 card. So in terms of how much graphics card prices have increased in the last, when was this? 2004, so that was 10 years ago. Does 10 years worth of inflation account for, let's have a look at AMD's top-of-the-line card today. And I'm not talking about buying two of them, because that was an option back then too. So a top-of-the-line R9 290X is, here we go, $549.99.
And look at all just the raw material that's increased since then too.
Yeah, the actual copper is more expensive
Yeah.
at this point. Not to mention how much more complicated it is to manufacture graphics
Yeah.
cards. Now, I'm not just going to pick on AMD here. Let's go ahead and find something sort of equally kind of over the top for its time.
Yeah.
The 8800 Ultra. So this was back in 2007. So we're going to pick on Guru 3D's review this time, where hopefully they have the pricing on the first page. No, they don't. So let's go on Tech Report. Okay, Ultra graphics card. This is what I love about these guys who've been doing it forever. Scott Wasson, man. Doing it for a long time.
And their pictures and articles are identical.
I know. It's that consistent experience, man.
Yep.
Where is the pricing? Come on, Scott. Help. The holder of Graphics Card Performance Crown is rarely available for $88 at Walmart, but the Ultra's value proposition is something, and he doesn't actually include the price
Trolled.
on the
He
conclusion
says
page.
it's like $200 more, but doesn't say
some
what
other
the
thing.
price is.
Dag nabbit, Scott. I'm trying to do a thing here. All right. It's blah blah blah, it's blah blah blah, it's blah blah blah. Ah, here we go. NVIDIA expects Ultra prices to start at roughly $829. This crap isn't new. So I don't interpret NVIDIA's statement that they expect graphics card average selling prices to continue to increase as a statement that they plan to increase pricing. Because if we go and look at the 780 Ti, which is, I'm excluding the Titan. Titan is not a gaming card. If we go and look at the 780 Ti, the highest end actual gaming graphics card from NVIDIA now is priced at $720. So there you go. It hasn't really changed a whole lot. People are just realizing, and this is part of the whole statement, people are just realizing that, games benefit from these higher end graphics cards.
And you can throw like a not super amazing CPU and a super badass graphics card at the solution, and most games will grab that and run.
And $300 as an average sell price isn't that bad. I mean, you can get a really great card for $300. And that's true on both the AMD and the NVIDIA side right now. And yes, some crazy guys are going to run out and buy 2 Titan Zs for $6,000. But that doesn't mean that you have to be a part of it. And just because that product exists doesn't mean that NVIDIA ever expects people to spend $6,000 on their graphics card.
They might not be super amazing at their whole marketing thing, and they might say it's a gaming card, but it's not.
And the reality of it is, if you made the product and someone was bananas enough to buy it, would you not provide an option for them?
I'd be down with that. I don't know. Whatever.
I mean, NVIDIA, within their own product lineup, provides better values.
Yes.
You could buy, you could pick up...
far better.
You could pick up 3 GTX 780 6 gig cards. That would be the extreme gaming option of choice. If you absolutely had to have the most bananas thing, and that would cost you around $1,700, $1,800 or so. Less than the price of one Titan Z, and would absolutely demolish at least one in terms of performance. It would probably beat 2, given how much lower a Titan Z is clocked. So, yeah, just because these things exist doesn't mean we have to buy them.
Yeah, exactly.
People are like, I could buy a card. Yes, you could buy a card, but we're talking about gamers. Oh, actually, here's an interesting addition from Ghost. Inflation over the last 10 years has been 26%. So the fact that AMD's top-of-the-line GPU costs exactly the same as their top-of-the-line GPU from back then is actually pretty darn impressive, and is a reduction in price. Speaking of AMD, AMD is hoping to put a little bit of mantle into the next OpenGL sort of developments. So they've actually provided, I believe, they've given Kronos unfettered access to Mantle. This was originally posted by Monster Cameron. And this is news coming from Richard Huddy, AMD's gaming scientist. We actually had an opportunity to interview him, but it was while I was gone having a baby. And I knew you were going to be busy, so I kind of bailed on it. But that's extremely exciting. So AMD will impose no restrictions, nor will it charge any licensing fees. And they're basically just saying, here, this is how we do it. If you want to take the same approach, go ahead. So to me, this is basically the nail in the coffin on Mantle, because why would anyone support Mantle when they can just... If Kronos decides to go ahead and implement some of Mantle's great features into OpenGL, OpenGL is going to be the way to go, because it's multi-platform. I mean, it's good. It runs on tablets.
And I seriously don't see NVIDIA going, oh, we don't want to use OpenGL. Like, no. Yeah,
so, I mean, Mantle, it was cool while it lasted.
Yep.
But it's just like G-Sync. It was cool while it lasted. Maybe you sold a couple graphics cards based on getting a bit better performance out of Battlefield 4. But at the end of the day, if the purpose of this was to drive the industry towards creating this, and if you're going to stop really getting any monetary benefit out of it at all in the future, then I say great. I'm glad that you sold a couple graphics cards in the meantime, or NVIDIA, I'm glad you sold a couple monitors in the meantime, because someone had to invest to make this happen. And I'm glad someone did it, and I'm glad they got paid. That's all I have to say.
Right. That's cool.
Twitter admits that 23 million of its active users, are automated.
I don't even know if I care, though.
I mean,
'Cause
didn't
there's
we
some-
assume this?
Yeah, there's so many, and they're pretty cool. Like, okay, Stats Canada isn't a bot, but that's a pretty awesome one. There's the Is Half-Life 3 out yet? Which just constantly says no. There's Big Ben, which goes like bong, bong, bong whenever Big Ben would go off. I don't know. There's a lot of bots. There's even like social experiment bots, and there's tons of stuff. I don't know. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Not exactly surprising news at all. But it is kind of cool to see the exact number, or
Yeah,
an estimation of the
8.5%
exact number.
is what they figure of total Twitter users.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, this is cool. The Sony Xperia Z2 lives on after being submerged in salt water for 6 weeks.
Yeah. So, okay, hold on. Mango Juice Stain was the OP for that that Twitter thing,
Mango.
and then Lars Reviews was the original poster for the Sony Xperia Z2 article. That is amazing. Here, do you want to run through the details of this one? We have 6,400 live viewers right now.
We do.
What
And I
the
didn't-
heck?
And I didn't have any time to read the doc this week.
That's absolutely bananas. It's okay. I'm.
Was
prepped
it in
this
the
week.
ocean? That's cool. I thought
Yeah.
they got like a bucket of salt
for
water.
crying out
I
loud.
haven't read the doc. I
I'll
told you.
cover it.
Just throw it in the ocean. That's
Okay,
kinda
so
awesome.
basically what happened was the way that Sony rates the phone is for 30 minutes of submersion in fresh water as deep as 5 feet. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what the IP rating for the phone says that it can handle. Now, what happened here was that while water skiing, Mr. Alexander Maxin, I guess, from Gothenburg. Okay, I don't know what language that is then. I was assuming it was French. It's not. Was water skiing and left his Sony Xperia Z2 on the seat of the boat. Once the craft started, the phone fell into the sea and was into the seabed more than 10 meters deep. So for our American viewers, that is 30 feet
Whoa.
deep. Yeah, dog, that is 6 times the rated depth.
And that's legit like all the gunk that's in the ocean
Yeah.
too.
6 weeks later, and salt is a corrosion problem.
Yeah.
6 weeks later, a friend of his went scuba diving and retrieved it. Probably just for lols.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone was expecting it to work, although he did try calling it and noticed that it didn't go straight to voicemail and therefore assumed it was still on. But that's not necessarily the case, because we've played around with the original Xperia Z, and even under a couple feet of water, wireless reception's not too great, so it could have been anything causing that. Anyway, so 6 weeks later, retrieved it. The back glass was shattered, but probably from the fall, and the battery had completely discharged, probably from just sitting there for 6 weeks, but the LED indicator lit up, and when the phone was plugged in and recharged, it worked perfectly, even making phone calls.
Beast. That's pretty cool. Wait, from the fall, so did it hit like the boat and then fall in the water?
Well, it must. Remember, a
they
metal
ripping
object,
along?
a metal object falling 30 feet in the water, if it's somewhat streamlined,
That's true.
can
yeah.
come down pretty
It'll
good.
whip through. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So that's probably what happened. Incredible. I mean, the Xperia Z was a phone that I really had a hard time recommending because that TN screen was bad. And on a phone where you might be looking at it from an angle all the time, where it's just like, oh, yeah, you know, whatever, I'm just glancing at it on the table, that is a big problem. Whereas the Z2, IPS panel, great specs, great build quality, what a great phone.
Next up, we have Microsoft possibly renaming Internet Explorer. Apparently, they've been discussing it for a long time, kicking around names, so that's not super
You
surprising.
should call it Steve. Or Bill.
Microsoft Bill.
Yeah.
It's just, I know what you're referencing with that, but just having like Microsoft Bill and having the icon just be money would troll so many people because of the Microsoft logo with the dollar sign as the S. Or yeah, just have the Microsoft dollar sign as the S, but name it Bill, because that makes no sense, but who cares? And then make the S like coded in like money texture. Just be like, sup.
Terrible. You know, I think it's a great idea. I think they need to do it at some point. But what I think they need to do is make sure, because Internet Explorer is not that bad right now.
It's had a lot of improvements.
It's been a lot worse at times in its past, but they've got to get it there.
Yeah.
They've got to be, because I mean that was what worked so well for Google. They launched Chrome when Chrome was good. Chrome has a lot of issues now, but it still has that perception that it's really fast and really lightweight. It's not lightweight at all anymore.
No, it's not. It's heavy as hell.
Like, at all. So what they need to do, if they're going to reimagine Internet Explorer, now's a good time, because everything else is kind of bloated.
Yeah. And
from the
like
big
having
guys
a lot of issues.
and having issues. So if they were to call it
Not just saying Chrome.
Microsoft something else and create a new perception of the product, it'll be great. If they just take Internet Explorer and reskin it in a way that is undesirable and crappy, and it doesn't stack up well right at the time of launch, then it's going to be the whole same thing all over again.
Apparently, they briefly considered Ultron, which would have been badass.
Ultron.
But,
Let me fire up Ultron.
but
Go on Reddit.
Lawyers said no. So that got
Those
shut
darn
down.
lawyers are no fun.
Jerks. Absolute jerks.
All right, speaking of jerks, anyone who likes micro USB? Boom. I said it. This is posted by Good Bytes on the forum. The USB Type-C cable and connectors are finalized, and here are renders of what they'll look like. So here's what receptacles will look like. Here's what plugs and cables will look like. Here is the most important thing about this. Well, actually, there's a lot of really important stuff here. So number one, reversible. No more putting your head around the back of your computer and trying to figure out which way it goes in. Yay! It looks slimmer, although it's hard for me to say that just based on a picture. The next cool stuff is it's going to support the new 10 gigabit per second standard. Yay!
Is this going to be super thin and fragile though?
No, I doubt it.
Like
Looking
a
at
micro?
it, I don't know. I guess we'll see. It doesn't look like a locking connector, which is a little bit disappointing. I wouldn't have minded if there was an optional lock. There may be an optional lock. I don't know. I haven't looked into that much. But the next cool thing is up to 100 watts of power.
Yes. Yep.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about...
We'd actually kind of seen that a little bit on a slightly different spec, but at CES, I did a video on that. That was really cool.
So we're going to be talking about being able to run like a multi-hard drive external enclosure off of this thing.
Or running your monitor.
Yeah,
through
very
USB.
cool. Very, very cool. 100 watts is a lot.
Yeah. One thing that they were trying to do with that 100 watt spec when I was at CES was power a screen, charge a laptop, and run everything else on it at the same time. Because
Right.
it was so fast and pushed power. Pretty cool.
All right, Metal Gear Solid 5 coming to PC. That's pretty exciting news. So Konami says, yes, that will happen. I guess that's pretty much all there is to really say about this.
Yes.
I think Total Biscuit actually probably put this best.
Yeah.
Because the other big news in terms of, former exclusive titles was Goat Simulator coming to consoles. So there you go. Thank you, Total Biscuit, for summing this up. So we traded Goat Simulator to consoles for Metal Gear Solid 5 on PC. Got out like a bandit there, didn't we? Yes. PC gamers got the better end of that deal.
Horrible Ghost Simulator is. Like, I'm sorry, but God, that game is bad. And like for being bad, it wasn't even very good at being like funny bad. It was just kind of bad. I don't know. Oh man.
But we lost a multi-platform game potentially. Very disappointed about this. Temporarily, well, yeah.
But yes.
I would have liked to have it sooner. I finally, mind you, at the rate that I finish games, given that I just played Tomb Raider 2013, this might not affect me at all.
You won't play it until it's released. Then we'll probably get it for benchmarking anyways, and then you'll just play it then.
So the upcoming Tomb Raider with the reimagined Lara Croft is going to be an Xbox One exclusive at launch.
Dun dun dun. Not a ton else to say there. There's going to be a delay. I believe they said after holiday season it might be coming to PC. I don't remember what the exact time frame is, though. I don't know where we even are in the dock now. I guess I can try and find it. There we go. The game is coming holiday 2015 exclusively to Xbox. It is unclear how long the exclusivity will last. So now we know it's at least coming. We're just not really sure when, which is kind of unfortunate. Apparently DayZ is going to PS4. I know Rocket 2 Guns, or whatever, I think that's what he refers to himself as. Rocket 2 Guns in
Posted
the past.
Posted by Jam Dude.
Rocket 2 Guns, or Dean Hall, in the past has kind of mashed consoles a little bit. Not a ton, but a little bit. There's a tweet here, if you jump back real quick.
Yeah. Excuse me. Sorry.
No
I'm
problem.
tired. It's been a long week.
I was just going to say, I think we're both pretty tired this week. Yeah, no.
I see the one.
Yeah. So, some guy says PS4 next release, please. Slightly different wording, but yeah. And then Another guy, unnamed guy, says, it hasn't even been fully released on our glorious PC. What are you expecting, peasant? And then Dean Hall, also known as Rocket 2 Guns, responds, yes, quiet consoles, the men folk are talking. So he has bashed consoles a little bit in the past, but then has claimed on Reddit, I believe it was, that getting it on the consoles might help funding to get other things. So essentially, stuff like DirectX 11 and 64-bit support. So, I don't
Okay.
know. Apparently they used a little bit of the PC funding to get their PlayStation agreement thing going on. So that's kind of sketchy. But that's what happens when you pre-order early release games.
Yeah, we really need to make that shirt, but the early designs for it are terrible.
Oh,
Did you see them?
no.
I paid full price for this
I didn't see it.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. Okay, so the creator of pop-up ads is sorry. This was originally posted on the forum by Victoria's Secret. It's actually kind of a funny little thing. Okay, thank you. Continue, thank you. Warning, annoying pop-up. Ethan Zuckerman is sorry. He leads the Center for Civic Media at MIT, says he didn't realize what he was bringing into the world when he wrote the code for the first pop-up ad more than 20 years ago.
Oh, God.
Tells the story of how it happened in an exquisite essay about how the ad-based business model came to dominate the internet and why it really shouldn't, and what we ought to do about it. But basically, what happened was they were in the middle of working on something, and what happened was there was an inappropriate ad that was encouraging anal sex or something like that on a car manufacturer's website, and they went, whoa, hold on a second, like, you know, ads are good, but we don't want to be associated with this. So the idea was if it was a pop-up, it wouldn't be associated with the website, and it wouldn't actually have to be on the website. It would be separate. So it would allow advertisers and content hosts to dissociate each other from each other. So that was the intention. Yeah, and he just says, I'm sorry, our intentions were good.
Sorry, man, but I don't know. You didn't see that going anywhere bad.
Well, okay, you think about the way that you might sort of kludge something just as a temporary fix.
I guess, yeah,
Do you
just for
really
yourself.
think about the long-term
And then
implications?
Someone was probably able to jack that code. So he probably was like, I'm making this for me. And someone was like, I'm taking this for me. It is mine now. And then that was bad.
Yeah, super, super, super bad. Okay, I just got to do a quick search for a hashtag here because
Oh, right. Yeah, that makes sense.
we have a Squarespace subscription to give away today.
Hooray!
All right, so I'm searching for hashtag Linus Squarespace, and I think we might have a winner. Oh, no!
Oh!
Wait.
Okay. Is this the thing?
I don't know. It's a trial website.
Hooray!
Yay! There we go. Okay, so I had to enter like some login thing. So TechPrince, the techprince.squarespace.com. You just won because your website right here. Hold on a second. There you go. Your website right here that you created with Squarespace is now yours for free for a year. So this is the beauty of Squarespace. Even people who don't know a whole lot about creating websites can make a, kind of flashy effects. This one scrolls faster than the other thing. Nice looking website with functional navigation. There you go. You just go ahead and check that out.
Look, he has a diamond because he's a prince.
Well, okay, whatever. Is Linus Tech Tips any less stupid than the Tech Prince? Really?
No.
No. No, it isn't.
What's our company name?
So, guys, just as a reminder, create yourself a trial Squarespace account. Use hashtag Linus Squarespace, and every month we give away a Squarespace account on the WAN show. So if you don't know what Squarespace is, guys, it is the easy, scalable, affordable way to create your own beautiful website. No offense to the Tech Prince, but I don't think he's exactly a web design guru. But Squarespace allows pretty much anyone with simple tools to design a logo, to design a website, to create their navigation, and to have it up on the web hosted by Squarespace for you. And if you pay for an entire year, by the way, you can save 10% with our offer code. If you pay for an entire year at a time, they'll even throw in the first year of your domain name. So they do all the hosting, they handle everything, and it's just there, and it just works. We've even tried to crash our own Squarespace site, linusmediagroup.com, and we've never successfully been able to do it, although we have more viewers than ever before on the WAN show. Should we try to take it down? Let's see if we can take it down.
And that's not even as many as we have. We're over 6,500.
We're over 6,500. Okay, so guys, it's linusmediagroup.com. So we're gonna stress test Squarespace here. Guys, hit it! Hit linusmediagroup.com with everything you got.
Drink all your Rage Hall.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see. I'm gonna keep refreshing here. I'm gonna see if it can handle it. Oh, it slowed down a little bit that time. So guys, Squarespace allows you to create a website for your blog, for your portfolio. It even has integrated e-commerce tools, so you can have a store that you run out of Squarespace. So it can be something as simple as, you create a PayPal merchant account. I'm going to do another refresh here. Create a PayPal merchant account, set up a Squarespace store, and boom, you can sell whatever, widgets your niece makes or something online or whatever it is you want to do. It's really cool. It's flexible. It's easy to use. And if you want to, you can dig a little deeper and you can get access to much more customization if you happen to be a more experienced web guy. So check that out. We did not manage to take it down.
I was really thinking that might have been enough.
I thought we might get it this time.
Jeez.
But there you go, guys. And that's the most basic Squarespace plan. And the great thing about it is it's scalable on its own. So if all of a sudden you need a lot more bandwidth, all you have to do is be like, okay, no, upgrade me. I need more capabilities. Throw more power at me.
I wish they would let us host Linus Media Group out of their centers.
You mean LinusTechTips.com?
LinusTechTips.com.
Yeah, I know, right?
They're
like
fantastic.
Bulletproof.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be awesome, guys.
So there you go, guys.
Let us rack our server in there.
Squarespace lets you create your own beautiful okay, in summary, Squarespace lets you create your own beautiful website that is going to have the reliability you need without the hassle and headache that comes along with maintaining 99% uptime, which is the standard on a website when you're trying to do it on your own. So thanks, Squarespace, for sponsoring the WAN show today. And as always, guys, don't forget, use offer code Linus if you sign up for Squarespace so that you can save 10% on your first order. And then you can also have a free trial website for 2 weeks. And stay tuned for next month, I guess, when we do our next Squarespace site giveaway. I think that's pretty much it.
People keep saying it's down, and then I test it, and it's totally not.
It's totally not, guys. Here. Okay, here. Not down at all.
Wrecked.
There we go. All right. So let's go ahead and move on. I think we have like one more topic today. Oh, this one. This is good news and like terrible news at the same time. Intel teams up with 50 Cent's company SMS Audio on biometric earbuds. So the technology's cool. Basically, it's a biometric monitoring gadget, so it's going to check your heart rate, temperature, blah, 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 blah. I actually don't remember exactly what it monitors. I don't much care because I personally think that an earphone is an phenomenally stupid place to wear that. I mean, the article says something about, it seems like one of the obstacles for wearables is that people are not looking for a new thing to wear. But the problem is that nobody lives with their earbuds in the whole time. So,
well, if it's for working out.
If it's just for working out, then okay, but that doesn't actually give you that much useful information about your overall lifestyle.
Yes. This is true.
So who gives a crap? You might as well just suck it up and wear an armband then. So, okay, anyway, basically the price point will be acceptable to consumers. Says SMS Audio.
Says SMS Audio. So what does that mean? $200. And they sound like poo-poo.
Yeah, they say the thing that drives me crazy about this is it's an article about earphones that makes no mention of how they sound. They're earphones. If I wanted a monitor thing that I wear in my ear, then That's what I would look for. Why would I want earphones that sound bad? And I'm assuming they're going to sound bad. Although I would be willing to completely reverse my sort of, analysis here. If I do try them out and they're great, like I'm not going to be closed-minded about it, but I just don't expect them to sound good at all. I mean, if you saw
We've
our
tried their
review
stuff.
of the Streets by 50 on-ears, yeah, that was just bad. I wonder how much the Star Wars edition in-ear biometric ones are going to cost. I really wish we'd stop giving this kind of nonsense our attention. We shouldn't have even talked about it. We should have just completely ignored it.
But if we...
The biometric thing is cool, though.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like on the show? 'Cause
Yeah.
I was going to say the review was good because we smashed it, so that means that other people can tell people it was bad.
I don't think
We have to inform the informants.
The problem with us doing a review of something like Streets by 50, I mean, that was a one-time thing, I think, where I was just like, oh, this is Star Wars, which is cool, but it's also an obviously terrible pair of headphones, and it's expensive, which is hilarious. I bought them intending to slam them because I knew they were going to be bad. I did do my due diligence. I made sure they were bad before I slammed them, but I bought them intending to do that. I'm not going to make a habit of just buying stuff to be terrible.
We do, though.
Not very often.
Not often at all.
Once every quarter or every 6 months or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to run out and buy these just so that I can declare them to be horrible.
Yes.
And I guess I just don't really know what to say about it anymore.
The only like biometrically scanning kind of thingy that I've seen in a long time that I cared about was that thing that I mentioned to you, where it was I believe it was a wristband, but who really cares? And it's constantly measuring, and it measures like the salt and stuff in your skin.
Yeah.
To figure out like, do you need to drink more water? Do you need to eat more food? Do you need to work out more? Do you need to start moving because you've been too idle? Like that one's kind of interesting because every once in a while it'll be like, hey, you haven't had any water today. Go drink some. Or you're malnourished right now. Go eat something.
Yeah, that to me is a lot more useful. Whereas something like in-ears that you're going to be wearing maybe an hour a day, that's not going to give any kind of useful information. It's just marketing to gullible people based on that whole fad of fitness level monitoring. Like that's all. It's another Wii Fit.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Fitness stuff will always sell.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I've got a lot of people saying that, yes, reviews like the Star Wars edition Streets by 50 on-ears are important, but I don't actually agree because you guys already know. You watch this show. So who are we reaching? We're not reaching the people who are buying this stuff and leaving rave reviews on Amazon about how great they are.
I don't know. You have to also calculate in that we're getting new viewers all the time, so they may not actually know. And if one of their friends is fairly dead set on buying it, and they try to tell them it's bad, and they're like, "Oh no, I don't know. I've heard it's pretty good." They could show them the video.
My name's not going to carry a ton of weight with that person. Because
but
they've never
they'll
heard
see
of me.
that it's a fairly well shot video, so it seems fairly legit. There's quite a few views on it.
And then they'll go look at 5-star customer reviews.
2 of them
On Amazon. Doesn't matter. Some of the other Amazon.com has 75, averaging 4.5 stars. This is Amazon.ca I'm on right now. So that's what we're up against. We're up against people who don't know any better and buy whatever Fitty tells them to and like it. And it's just wow. In my opinion, SMS is better and wouldn't mind recommending it to my friends. I mean, we're talking verified purchases
Better
here.
than what? Beats?
Better than, I don't know, airplane headphones, probably. The issue is that people don't...
These sound so purchased. SMS audio is the best way to listen to music. That doesn't even mention...
These headphones are made of superb quality build and sound. They're more durable than Beats, and they sound better and clearer.
That sounds incredibly purchased. Just saying.
But the grammar's wrong, so it probably is an end user. I wouldn't.
No, that's happened in purchase ones a lot.
Yeah, I guess you're probably
like
right.
a ton. Mainly, you see the grammar problem and spelling problem thing.
People are like, Linus, audio is subjective, man. No, it isn't. There's bad audio. Bad audio is bad audio, and Streets by 50 are objectively bad. They do not take the signal that comes into them and output something that resembles it. That's bad.
I think there's a
There is some subjectivity,
Yes.
but bad is bad.
but there's still a threshold of this is just bad.
It's like-
and these ones are good and these ones are subjective.
Look,
blah, blah.
it's like wine. There's lots of different good wine, and they can be different from each other. But bad wine is going to make anybody throw up, as if they've tried good wine, especially. That's all there is to it. Done. I really hoped everyone who watched this show knew better, but apparently they don't. Sorry. Anyway, I think on that sort of annoying note, we're done here.
Right.
Peace out, guys. We'll see you again next week. Thank you for watching, and the archive will be up if you tuned in late, hopefully sometime tonight.
Destroyed.
And thanks again for watching.
As long as YouTube allows me to upload it, it will be up sometime tonight. There you go.
Oh yeah, Squarespace sponsored the show today. Thanks, Squarespace.
Thanks, Squarespace.